What's the gang all in?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Keener. I'm the athletic director. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 4th annual South Fayette Township Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Tonight we gather to honor, celebrate, and recognize the deep-rooted tradition, pride, and excellence that define our school district. We will forever cherish the extraordinary contributions of those who have impacted our school, community, and beyond. Now it's time to welcome the esteemed class of 2025 South Fayette Hall of Fame inductees to the stage. Please join me in giving a warm round of applause to our class of 2025 Hall of Fame honorees. At this time, please rise for the national anthem and alma mater performed by South Fayette High School junior Cecilia Wurzler.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight over ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? South Fayette, may we be ever faithful to thee. May thy children all cherish thy name. For the good thou hast done, for each victory we've won, alma mater to thee
Thank you, Cecilia. That was beautiful. This evening, we also have the privilege of recognizing some outstanding leaders and supporters of South Fayette. We are incredibly grateful for everything you've done and continue to do to build the tradition, pride, and excellence that South Fayette embodies. We extend a tremendous thank you to our former and current board members, former and current administration, and previous Hall of Fame inductees that have joined us tonight. A big thank you goes out to Nicole Plow and her team for hosting a beautiful reception for our inductees and their families before tonight's ceremony. We also appreciate the support from Steve Timmons, Josh Wasserman, and our facilities and custodial departments for their assistance in setting up the event space. Special thanks to our student quartet, Gabe Ging, Alexia Klasavage, Naomi D'Souza, and Leon Tay for their wonderful performance during the reception. We'd also like to thank South Fayette graduate Josh Miltier for capturing all the photos for both tonight and tomorrow's events, and South Fayette media teacher Andy Maranzel for filming this event this evening. Planning for this event was a collaborative effort, and we are fortunate to have a dedicated committee of talented individuals guiding the Hall of Fame process and celebrations. Committee members include Dr. Michelle Miller, Dr. Kristen Deichler, Dr. Chuck Herring, Mr. Brian Toney, Dr. Kevin Maurer, Dr. Natasha Durda, Mr. Mike Perrott, Miss Erin Carranza, Mr. Matt Bacco, Mrs. Jennifer Donovan, and myself, Mark Keener. I hope I haven't missed anyone, as we are always grateful for every contribution. As many of you know, South Fayette is a family, and we value the efforts of each individual involved in events like tonight. Now, it's my honor to introduce our Assistant Superintendent of the Schools, Dr. Kristen Deichler, to continue the ceremony.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It is truly an honor to welcome you all and to congratulate the class of 2025 Hall of Fame inductees. Our superintendent, Dr. Michelle Miller, is representing our district and region at a convening of school leaders out of state, but wanted to share the following with everyone this evening. Good evening. I want to extend my heartfelt congratulations to the class of 2025 Hall of Fame inductees, as well as their family and friends who have gathered this evening to celebrate their recognition. South Fayette's tradition, pride, and excellence has been built on the legacy of so many students, staff, school leaders, and community members. Tonight, our class of 2025 exemplifies the cornerstone in which our district's history has been built. Inductees, thank you for your contributions to South Fayette as a student and for carrying that tradition, pride, and excellence far beyond our campus. We are grateful and so proud of your accomplishments. As our Hall of Fame committee gathered to plan this fourth induction ceremony, we wanted to ensure that those honored tonight exemplify the long-standing commitment to excellence in the arts, athletics, and academics that is central to our district's mission. On behalf of the entire South Fayette Township School District, I extend my heartfelt thanks and congratulations to our 8 inductees, their families, friends, and everyone who has joined us this evening to celebrate this exceptional class. It is important to acknowledge the incredible contributions of those who have been instrumental in the growth and progress of South Fayette. We have come a long way from our humble beginnings as a small, rural, single-A district to being recognized as the District of the Decade in our region. As current leaders, educators, and community members, we recognize that we are building upon the legacy established by visionary individuals. We truly stand on the shoulders of giants. The dedication, hard work, and achievement of our students, staff, educators, and administration over the years have been essential to the South Fayette story, marking important milestones in our journey to becoming who we are today. With that in mind, we extend our deepest appreciation to our inductees, distinguished guests, our community, and every member of the South Fayette family. Your unwavering support and contributions have helped us embody our core values of being future-focused, student-centered, and innovation-driven. Allow me to remind you of our current mission statement. In partnership with the community, the mission of the South Fayette Township School District, a leader in innovation, is to elevate academic, artistic, and athletic excellence of the whole learner by inspiring the strength to be dynamic, ethical, and empathetic citizens who flourish in a global society. This is a continuation of the vision and work of those who established the legacies that still shape our district today. We are deeply grateful for the remarkable contributions our inductees made during their time here as part of the South Fayette community, as well as their extraordinary accomplishments since graduating from South Fayette High School. It is with immense pride that we join in celebrating these outstanding individuals tonight. To help us celebrate this special evening, we've invited Mark Snyder, a well-known Pittsburgh radio personality and resident of South Fayette, to serve as our Master of Ceremonies. Many of you may recognize his iconic voice, or perhaps know him as Bubba from 100.7 Star FM, or from his time on the PA system at our high school football games, or even coaching our Lions on the baseball field. Bubba, we are so grateful for your presence tonight, so please join me in giving Bubba a warm welcome as he takes the podium to officially begin our induction ceremony.
Wow, thank you. I'm going to go off script for a second. This is, I think I've been the MC every year. Please remember that this is a celebration. This should be fun. When it's time to cheer, like really cheer, make some noise. We are here to celebrate a really huge milestone. So it's okay to get loud. It's okay to make some noise because we're celebrating excellence here. And feel free to have fun with that. This evening we come together to honor the best of the best. The true VIPs of South Fayette. These are individuals who excelled on the track, field, mat, and in the classroom, and on the stage, leading, collaborating, learning, and growing into the remarkable people they are today. Their time at South Fayette laid the foundation for the impressive achievements they've gone on to accomplish in their careers and communities. Tonight's inductees represent a wide range of accomplishments and contributions, each one reflecting the unique spirit of this school district. I encourage you to take a moment to read the program and discover the incredible achievements of these distinguished honorees. Let me start by asking for a warm round of applause for all of our nominees tonight. Our first inductee is Mr. Rich Bonor. From South Fayette, class of 1977, Rich is a lifelong South Fayette Township resident whose name is synonymous with South Fayette basketball excellence. A proud member of the class of 1977, Rich earned varsity letters in both basketball and baseball before returning to the district in 1986 as a junior high coach. By 1989, he joined the varsity boys basketball staff and later took the helm as head coach in 2000. Under his leadership, the Lions captured South Fayette's first ever PIAA state championship in 2010, making the district's first state title in any team sport. Yes, right? Kind of a big deal. That year, Rich was honored as the AP Pennsylvania High School Basketball Coach of the Year and recognized by the Almanac and the Observer Reporter for his outstanding coaching. Over 16 seasons, Rich became South Fayette's all-time winningest basketball coach, earning more than 260 victories and a 700 winning percentage and guiding his team to 15 playoff appearances, 6 section titles, and multiple postseason deep runs. Beyond the wins, Coach Bonor is remembered for shaping young men into dedicated athletes and kind, hard-working individuals. Rich and his wife Lisa continue to call South Fayette home. They have 2 children, Alexis and Evan, and 3 grandchildren, Aiden, Abigail, and Fiona. Please join me in congratulating Coach Rich Bonor.
Was that Fiona? My 2-year-old granddaughter. Listen, when any coach gets any kind of individual award, we all get a little bit squirrely because it's based on one thing. We had great players and great kids. They do the heavy lifting. You know, we drove the bus. That's what we did. So for all you ex-players that are here, and Michael, you know, I just appreciate to be a small part of your life. You know, I do want to get into some thank yous. First of all, the committee for even considering me. It's a great honor and forever in debt to you. The other recipients on the stage. I got to mention a couple of them. I was going to stand there and act like I was going in the Hall of Fame as a player, but Tony Neely and I were teammates in the 70s. He'll tell on me. I said he's going to tell him. So, you know, I want you to know that was maybe the greatest athlete at South Fayette, Tony Neely. And I got to mention Michael Lamberti, best basketball player in South Fayette history. Pat just made a face, by the way. What a pleasure, and a pleasure to watch him go on. He's head coach at West Liberty State right now. I'm so proud of you, Michael. 1986, lifelong friend of mine, Fred Bierman, he's here tonight, played at Pitt, coached high school football for many years very successfully. Right now he's on Coach Junko's staff in Upper St. Clair. He gave me a call and he says, hey, would you come and be my assistant football coach? I said, yeah, sounds like fun. We'll give it a try. So I went to the first practice. It's a football team. We had 14 kids, and about 5 of them were about this big. I remember. We did have Kenny Raddick with 6'5". Everybody went down like this. But you take something from every coach. I want to see every coach in the country to try to gain knowledge about basketball, but this was at football. But the first practice, the first thing Fred said to our team was, I'm going to be trying to earn your respect. And Fred, I've used that for 30 years. I've never had a team that I didn't say that the first day and try to earn their respect, because he did tell the kids, now if you want to play, probably be a good idea if you earn our respect too. But that went a long way, and I think that's just how it has to be. Fred, can't thank you enough. The other guy, there's no Coach Benor without Joe Farkas. Took me under his wing. I could be here all night talking about Joe and I, but he didn't just teach me basketball, he taught me much more important things. He taught me everything about life. Being self-employed, pretty self-assured. I'd have lasted 10 minutes working in a school district if it wasn't for Joe. But he showed me the way. He knew I loved the sport, knew I loved South Fayette, and Joe, can never thank you enough, buddy. Joe DiDonato here? I did not see Joe, Reverend DiDonato. I'd like to talk about my assistants. They worked as hard and accomplished as much as I did. First, Dwayne Canton, he was with me all 16 years. I was a head coach. Dwayne, a part of this award is yours, but I get to keep it at my house. So, no, I miss those days, and I miss being with him. And Rich Zayway, supposed to be here, was our stat guy. He got about half the stats every game, we would tell him, but he had some. Mark Keener, as good of friends as we are and as much fun as we had, great basketball coach, number one, great friend, number two. He had an important job when we came out of the locker room. He would come up, and usually we wore ties back then to coach basketball, and he would fix my collar, then he'd straighten my tie, and then he'd go to do my hair, and he gave up on me. But and then every game, after the national anthem, you remember what you'd say, Coach? He would lean down into me and he'd say, "Your job's on the line tonight." And every game I would say, "Good." Then the game would start, and I got to stand up, and Dwayne and Rich Zayway and Coach Keener were behind me, and all I would hear was, "Sit your fat butt out of," they didn't say butt, "get your fat butt out of the way," every game. And I would turn around every game and tell them, "You don't know what you're looking at anyway," so I just stand there. But I miss those times, and it takes a village. Well, it takes a village to coach too. I thought we put a lot of adults in position to help these kids. We got along like no other teams, and that was the most important thing to me. Some other people I'd like to mention: assistants, Rich Mack, Joe DiDonato Jr., Jimmy Kirker, T.J. Plack, doing pretty good out in Peters Township now. He was my JV coach for a few years. And got to mention Coach Fox. You couldn't write a bad Hollywood movie script of the year we won the state championship, because that previous spring, when it would have been our first open gym, was the day that Coach Fox passed away from cancer. And obviously we didn't have the open gym, but I'm sure these guys remember, we met in the locker room. A lot of tears, a lot of stories, and that was our start of our journey that ended up at Penn State with Josh Patterson throwing the ball up in the air. But you couldn't, that'd be a terrible Hollywood movie from that whole story to the ending. But loved that man, he loved these kids. He kept saying he was really sick the previous 2 seasons, and he said, "Man, I want to be here for," he was saying, Mike Burrow's senior year. He worked with the big kids. He knew, and he did make it. But I see that last shot the kid from Strawberry Mansion took. Watched a million shots from the sideline in my life. That thing was dead end. He shot it. I said, "Oh shit, we're going to overtime." I still think it was Coach Fox batted that ball out of the way because it just veered to the left. Christian got the rebound, threw it to Josh, and that was that. But family and friends that are here, just like at every game I could look over and pick out all you guys. It means a lot to me, and thank you very much for being here, especially Fiona yelling Pap back there. But hey, one little story. My wife said, "Don't be sitting up there telling stories." So I know we have 8 of us. So my son Evan and I were golfing down at Frosty Valley. We're on a putting green, and a mutual friend of ours that played in the NBA, so I'm not going to say his name, and I'm sure a lot of you do know him. Every time he'd see me, he followed these guys and some of our better teams. And, I love this guy, but he'd say, "Never let him run. You never let him run," he'd say. I say, that's all we did. We ran transition day and night, but for once I kept my mouth shut. I just bit my tongue. Then he's sitting there putting, and then he said something. He goes, you just love them kids." My wife says I have a chip on my shoulder, but I kind of took it, I was ready to say, "No, we did. We talked for 2 hours." I thought he was kind of putting us down, but it took me till the second hole, after I hit my drive out of bounds every time I've ever played there. And we're riding down the fairway, and I realized this guy gave me the greatest compliment any coach can get. And, I can live with that. But They could put that on my tombstone. He loved his players because that's what it's all about. The younger guys, younger coaches, Evans at W&J now, Michael, as I was saying, and Josh coaching in high school. You're going to be my age someday, and you're going to look back and you're going to say that was the most important thing. So just leave you with that. And again, thanks to everybody that attended, and got a good night coming up ahead of you. Thank you.
Our next inductee left behind a legacy that bridges 2 sports, 2 continents, and generations of South Fayette pride. Aldo Buff Dinelli, born in Morgan, Pennsylvania in 1907, grew up in a coal mining community where grit and teamwork were part of everyday life. His athletic talent soon carried him far beyond those local fields. In the 1930s, Aldo became one of America's top soccer players, representing the United States at the 1934 World Cup in Italy. In the qualifier against Mexico, he scored all 4 American goals in a 4-2 win, and then went on to score the United States' only goal against the eventual world champion, Italy. To this day, he remains the only American to score in both a World Cup qualifier and final in the same year. He was later inducted into the National Soccer Hall of Fame in 1954. But Aldo's success didn't stop with soccer. He went on to build an extraordinary football coaching career, leading Duquesne University to a national prominence with a 29-4-2 record, including an undefeated 1941 season ranked 8th in the country. That same year, he became the only person ever to coach both a college team and an NFL team at the same time, balancing duties between Duquesne and the Pittsburgh Steelers before later coaching the Cleveland Rams. Aldo also served his country in the United States Navy during World War II, remembered for his toughness, intellect, and leadership. Though he passed away in 1994, Aldo Buff Dinelli's impact on both American soccer and football still stands as one of Western Pennsylvania's most inspiring sports stories. Accepting this honor tonight on his behalf is his nephew, Mr. Mike Shuck. Please, a big round of applause for Aldo Buff Dinelli.
Congratulations, Ken.
Our next inductee represents excellence both on and off the field. Dr. Nick Ferracci, South Fayette class of 2011, was a 4-year starter for the Lions football team, earning all-conference honors 3 times and first-team All-State recognition as a senior. He captained the team during back-to-back undefeated regular seasons, leading South Fayette to the 2010 WPIALAA Championship and a PIAA State runner-up finish. Nick was just as impressive in the classroom, consistently making the highest honor roll, joining the National Honor Society, and earning the Whitefields Foundation Joshua Courage Award. After high school, Nick continued his success at Robert Morris University, where he started all 44 games at center, a program record. He served as team captain, earned multiple academic awards, and became one of the most decorated student athletes in RMU history, twice being named a Division I Academic All-American and the FCS ADA National Scholar Athlete of the Year. He graduated first in his nursing class and received the Heart of Nursing Award. Nick returned to South Fayette as a coach in 2016 before pursuing his medical degree at the University of Central Florida College of Medicine, where he again graduated at the top of his class, earned the Merck Manual Award, and was chosen by his peers as commencement speaker. Now, back in Pittsburgh, Nick completed his internal medicine residency at UPMC, where he received the Lawrence Reardon Professionalism Award and is currently finishing his cardiology fellowship. He lives right here in South Fayette with his wife Kayla and his two children Gia and Roman. Please, a big round of applause for Dr. Nick Faraci.
Thank you for that introduction. I want to start off by thanking Mr. Keener, Dr. Deichler, and the rest of the committee and the administration for this tremendous honor. And congratulations to all the inductees tonight. It's a tremendous honor to stand and be on stage with you all. Growing up in South Fayette, it meant the world to me. You know, as a kid, thinking back to my friends and I running down on the old football field by the fence, and we'd stop everything we were doing to listen to the fight song. We'd be so mesmerized as players like Mike Shuck and Mike Patterson walked out of the locker room, we slapped their hands as they got onto the field. And me, as my brother, being someone who was on the team at the time, was lucky enough to have an all-access pass to watch the team and learn from him and his friends of what it took to wear the green and white. And then in middle school, I was lucky enough to be the ball boy, and again, had an all-access pass to learn up close and personal to guys like Andrew Donato, Zach Patterson, Marcus Parks, and others, what it took to be successful both on and off the football field. But it was obvious early on that there was more than just sports that made South Fayette special. I think back all the way to my preschool days with Mrs. Morale. She taught us how to not only be good students, but even better people. And these values continues, I think, through all the teachers I had over the years, starting in first grade, Mrs. O'Dad, all the way to high school years of Mr. Flannery. The commitment to excellence, the support and respect that was always given was truly remarkable. But again, it was more than just sports and academics that made South Fayette so special. For this, I think back to my senior year, going into the football season. Unfortunately, my dad was diagnosed with mantle cell lymphoma at the time. It was a huge hit to the family where we were supposed to be, filled with a lot of excitement going into my senior year of football. But the outpouring from the community was amazing. I think back to constant meals provided by families in the community, well wishes from people that we never even met, and a fundraiser organized by my neighbors that was just amazing and something my family and I still talk about to this day. South Fayette played a huge part in my journey to where I am. But I am a true believer that every person at the end of their life or during their journey is just a sum of all the people that make an impact on the way. And that's why I wanted to recognize a few individuals who had the biggest impact on me. To my coaches, starting with my offense and defensive line coaches, the late Jim Sweeney and the late Bill Yost. Two Whitfield legends who were old school, but coached with respect, sincerity, and attention to detail, and coached as long as they could because they loved the game and shaping the younger generation. Next is Coach Joe Rossi. Coach and I had a lot of wins together, but it didn't always start that way. I remember vividly walking off the field after losing to Canada in my sophomore year that capped a 3-6 season. He stopped me on the way in the locker room, he looked me in my eye, and he promised, I'm going to right the ship. And there's no doubt he did that as he went on to win multiple Whitfield and state championships with multiple numerous wins and undefeated seasons along the way. But for Coach, it was more than just the wins. He taught us how to be great men, fathers, and husbands as well. Coach always talked about, in college, he wrote an essay about the little things and how focusing on these can lead to success. And this is something I take with me every day in my career, as focusing on those little things can mean a difference between life and death. To my strength coach, Mike Bull Shuck. Bull and I started lifting together when I was in 8th grade, and we still lift together today. I know that crazy SOB will still be doing deadlifts in his gym when he's 100 years old. You're welcome, Bull. I look back and both taught me the value of hard work and never allowed me to be soft, as I remember Josh Patterson, Christian Broomball, Jeff Davis, and I pushing his truck up his road after doing 100 sets in the squat rack. But Bull opened his garage up to many athletes over the years, and we all owe him a lot for his commitment to South Fayette football. To my teammates and friends I grew up with, as a football player, you're only good as the guy next to you. It was special being able to play with my teammates from a young age and then go on to win a Whitfield championship at Heinz Field, something we talked about for many years. I have great memories blocking alongside fellow Hogs for stars like Jeff Davis, giving legends like Christian Broomball time to throw touchdowns to some of the best to ever do it, Josh Patterson, Tyler Challengeworth, Tanner Cortad, to name a few. All while being supported by the star basketball players Mike Lamberti and Patrick Zedrick. Seeing them honk their horns and drive in circles atop the football field, while Mike over here hung out the window, waved the flag, and yelled at the top of his lungs, was a staple of every Thursday practice. But this was the culture of South Fayette and growing up here. You have your friends and you have the people around you who support you and want you to be just as successful as you strive to be yourself. And being around these type of players and the people here today only drove me to be a better version of myself. To my family, growing up, all I ever wanted to do was be like my older brothers. Being the youngest of three, I was at an unfair advantage. I had two great role models who I was able to watch and model myself after, learning from both their successes and mistakes as I molded my own path. My oldest brother, Dom, was a successful basketball player and state champion at Menneson High School. He always pushed me and my brother Ryan with tough love and set the first example of what it took to be successful on and off the playing field. My other brother Ryan is a well-known staple of the South Fayette football program and had a successful career himself at St. Francis University. Growing up, I just wanted to be like him on the football field. I tried to model everything he did as he taught me everything I know about the game of football. We did have a unique relationship as he was my line coach my junior and senior year. This meant that I had to listen to everything that Coach Big Bro had to say at practice. He had just moved back home from college, which definitely made for some interesting nights when strong feelings from the practice field would spill over to the occasional verbal and or physical altercation at home. I know what you're all thinking. The answer is yes, I did win most of those battles. But there is no doubt that I was lucky as hell to have him, and the experience I had with him as my coach were by far my favorite years of football. To my wife, Kayla, not a South Fayette graduate, but she's all now into being a South Fayette mom. She has been by my side through all the ups and downs of college and beyond, and the trials and tribulations of medical training with unwavering support. She's one of the most diligent, resilient people I know, and an exceptional role model for our kids, and I'm very thankful to have her in my life. Lastly, to my parents. My mom has been my strongest supporter over the years. She's the hardest working, strongest, and most loving person that I know. She's my hero. Since my dad worked nights growing up, she was always the primary person juggling a million tasks, but still finding a way to take me to practices and workouts, help me study before my tests, and ensure that I was eating enough food to keep weight for football. Everything that I am, I owe the most to her. And to my dad, the best to ever do it. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2019 and cannot be here in person with us tonight, but I know he is one of the two happiest people tonight and most proud, smiling down on us, as I know he shares a nice cold one with Mr. Lamberti. Anyone who was around for the 2010 season knows how special that year was. When my dad got out of his first hospitalization after his lymphoma diagnosis, he came up to watch a summer workout. Coach Rossi sent all of us on the team up to go talk to him and promise him a Whitfield championship. Fast forward a few months later, and we were at Shadyside Hospital handing him a trophy the day after the game. I still get chills thinking about that. He was my biggest supporter and the biggest supporter of South Fayette football in general. However, he definitely was still the blue-collar parent that told me ways to improve instead of just saying what went well. Throughout high school and college, I think back to every night after the game. He would sit there and he'd go over my performance and then ultimately give me a grade. Throughout all that time, I never received an A, and I was a C student at best. But this tough love only pushed me to work harder in all aspects of my life, and for this, I'm forever grateful. I wouldn't be who I am today without South Fayette and the people who I mentioned who have been a part of my journey, and others. As I now move back to South Fayette and live here with my wife and my kids, Gia and Roman, I can't wait, and I hope that they will get the same opportunity I had to experience all the amazing things this school and community has to offer. Thank you again for this tremendous honor, and congratulations to all the fellow inductees. Thank you.
Our next inductee is one of the greatest basketball players in South Fayette history. Michael Lamberti, class of 2011, is South Fayette's all-time leading scorer with over 1,700 career points. A consistent standout, he earned All-State honors 3 times, third team as a sophomore, second team as a junior, and first team as a senior. He's also the only player ever to earn 4 straight first-team All-District selections from the Observer Reporter. As a junior, Michael led the Lions to the 2010 PIAA Class A State Championship, scoring a team-high 17 points in the thrilling 49-47 win over Strawberry Mansion. That same season, he was named the Observer Reporter Player of the Year. He carried his success to West Liberty University, helping the Hilltoppers compile an incredible 156-17 record that included 5 conference titles, 3 Final Four appearances, and a trip to the 2014 National Championship game. After his playing days, he earned his master's in leadership from Emory-Riddle University and returned to West Liberty as an assistant coach, guiding the program through an 8-year stretch of dominance that featured another national championship appearance in 2023. In 2023, Michael became head coach at Coker University in South Carolina, where his team broke program scoring records and posted the school's first back-to-back winning seasons in more than a decade. This past June, Michael came full circle, returning home to West Liberty University as the head men's basketball coach. He lives in Wheeling, West Virginia with his wife Emily, their son Enzo, and their daughter Francesca. Congratulations to Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Michael Lamberti.
Thanks, Keener. Let the guy who repeated the 8th grade twice go after the doctor. It'll help me. Thank you. But I'll tell you what, I would sign up, and most people would any day, to get into a packed gym to shoot a couple pressure free throws to win a big game instead of standing up here and talk in front of you all at a moment like this, unless your name's Pat Zedrick. We all remember airballing 2 free throws before that's to ice that state championship game. But here we are. But seriously, it's a very nice honor to be inducted in the South Fayette Alumni Hall of Fame. I appreciate the committee thinking I'm worthy for this, and congratulations to all the other inductees tonight. You know, when I first started playing basketball, I never imagined it would lead to something like this. I was a very rambunctious young kid, and I imagine when my parents took me to tryouts in the 3rd grade, they just wanted to get me out of the house to get a little calm time. And now that I'm a father, I understand that completely. But looking back, I was lucky to have so many people who helped shape me, not just as a player, but as a person through this journey at South Fayette. So I'd like to thank a few people here. First off is a few of my coaches. Dan Henry, my junior high coach. You're the first person who really showed me what it meant to not only love the game of basketball, but that I might actually have a decent chance of being good at this. You taught me fundamentals, discipline, and how to take coaching, even when I thought I already knew everything when I was in the 7th grade. But more importantly, you never gave up on me. Honestly, you probably should have kicked me off the team a few times, and nobody would have blamed you, but you didn't. You kept giving me second chances, kept mentoring me, and somehow saw potential in a hard-headed kid who thought running suicides were optional. I still remember to this day, after getting in trouble for about the 5th time in the 7th grade, my dad packed up my jerseys, put them in the team bag, and brought it to your house. He looked at me right before leaving and said, maybe they'll give you another chance next year. I'm not quite sure I ever saw my dad more disappointed than that moment. Came back about an hour later and said, for some reason, Coach Henry's keeping you on the team. Those lessons in patience and perseverance stuck with me long after junior high. I carry them with me today as a coach, as a father, and as a husband, and I'll always be grateful for you believing in me, even at such a young age, when I didn't always make it that easy on you. And don't worry, Coach, I've grown up a little bit since then. Coach Rich Bernor, the man who took our team to that 2010 state championship. That was definitely a special ride. Now we all just listen to Coach talk, and you could definitely see if there's a picture that deserved to be next to humble in the dictionary. It's that guy. But what really made him special wasn't just his basketball mind and having so much pride in South Fayette. It was his ability to build relationships. He had this way of connecting with every guy on the team, knowing how to push you without breaking you. He made us want to show up to practice. We were excited to go every day and work hard and play for him. And that's a rare gift that a coach can hold. And what means even more is 14 years later, we still have that relationship. Coach called me a couple days ago to congratulate me on this honor, talk about the ceremony coming up, and most importantly, where we grabbing a couple cold ones after. The fact that we can still talk and laugh about these old days says everything about the kind of person and mentor he is. He wasn't alone by any means. He mentioned his assistant coaches that I had the pleasure of playing for as well, the great late Coach Fox, Dwayne Canton, Mark Keener, Rich Zayway, and Richard Mack. Definitely a heck of a crew. Coach Canton and Coach Mack told us all about what it was like going to South Fayette in the 90s, a little bit about basketball here and there as well. Coach Keener, those half-court defensive drills. I love getting in a defensive stance for you and sliding all over that gym. And he always thought he could still play with us. And then there was Coach Zayway, who told those wild war stories in the Penn State dorms. Coach Fox, what they didn't mention in the bios, I guess I may be the all-time leading scorer, but I also lead the place in technical fouls as well. And every time I got one of those, he liked to sit me down and let me know that putting myself ahead of the team wasn't right. I appreciate all those lessons he taught me as well. You all pushed us to be better every single day, but made the environment fun. We wouldn't have achieved what we did without your guidance and belief. To my teammates, especially Mr. Patrick Zedrick, I appreciate you guys passing me the ball and making me look better than I was. You guys made it fun, you made it competitive, you made it memorable. Every win and every bus ride, every locker room celebration and dance session. Those are the moments that stick with me more than any stat line that I might personally have. And even though I ended up as the all-time leading scorer, we all know that was because I wasn't passing the ball. And Keener, if you're not behind me crying right now like you did before the state championship game, Mr. Zedrick better be standing up here next year because he is the best basketball player that ever played here. To my family, Bobcat Zedrick, I may not be your son by blood, but you were like a second dad to me, and I'm sure I spent more time at your house than my own in those high school years. Thank you for being there every step of the way, those rides to practice, advice, meals, and those famous cinema rolls after we raised hell in your basement on Saturday nights. I appreciate you more than words can explain. Aunt Jane, Uncle Brian, Alyssa, and James, my beautiful nieces, Malia and Olivia, no matter what I decide to do in life, I appreciate the support, and you're always in my corner. Thank you for being here tonight to celebrate. To my mom, Cindy, she'll be the first to admit she doesn't know a dang thing about basketball, but she was at every game no matter what. I've been a part of a team since I was 10 years old, and I'm standing up here at 33 right now as a head basketball coach. And she couldn't tell you what a travel or zone defense is to save her life, but she knows how to cheer louder than anyone and yell at refs when they make the wrong calls. I love you, Mom, and thank you for being my biggest fan. To my dad, who is no longer with us, who started it all by taking me to that first tryout. He's got one heck of a seat up there with Mr. Faraci, talking about how amazing their sons are. I know you'd be proud. And your advice every time coming back from those long car rides, even though I didn't play great or whatever it may be, find something you love and figure out how to make some money doing it. That has stuck with me my entire life, and I'm happy to say I'm doing exactly that. And to my wife, Emily, who thankfully we were not together when I was in high school, or you would not be sitting in here right now. You've been my rock, my biggest supporter. And somehow still listen to me talk about basketball every single day like it's breaking news. I'm so thankful for you and our beautiful growing family. I love you. But in closing, I want to say this. Tonight really isn't about me, and no offense to the people sitting to my left, it's not really about the inductees. Yes, we've done some incredible stuff and brought pride and joy and excellence to South Fayette, but it's about South Fayette. And South Fayette isn't just defined by a building or a gym or any fancy technology or these 80 new developments that have gone up since I graduated here. It's defined by the people, the coaches who care, the teachers who support, the teammates who become lifelong friends, and the community that shows up for everything, especially that state championship run in 2010. That's what makes this place special. I'm standing up here right now with my high school coach being inducted and one of the groomsmen from my wedding. It's a pretty special place where relationships are made to last a lifetime. That's what makes this place special. And that's what shaped me into the man I am today. So thank you, South Fayette. Thank you to everybody who took the time to listen to me talk today. God bless and go Lions.
Our next inductee is a true example of athletic excellence and lifelong service. Mr. Tony Neely earned 3 varsity letters in both football and basketball at South Fayette, drawing recruitment from more than 50 major football programs nationwide. He chose the University of Arizona, where he became a 4-year letterman and defensive standout, helping the Wildcats to the 1979 Fiesta Bowl. As a senior, he tied for the Pac-10 lead in interceptions and earned a spot in the Senior Bowl. In 1983, Tony was drafted by the Arizona Wranglers of the USFL. After his playing career, he spent a decade with the Dallas Police Department before returning to Arizona, where he built a successful cleaning business and later spent 18 years as Assistant Director of Security for the Phoenix Suns. He also served as a police officer at Grand Canyon University and was appointed by a deputy constable for Maricopa County. Today, Tony and his wife Cheryl co-own a business helping other entrepreneurs achieve financial success. They are proud grandparents who enjoy family time, traveling and relaxing in Arizona's White Mountains and Rocky Point, Mexico. Congratulations to Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Tony Neely.
It's good to be back in Pennsylvania, back in South Fayette Township, and in this magnificent building. Tradition, pride, excellent. That's what South Fayette's all about. And those 3 words took me a long way. All the way from here in South Fayette Township, all the way to Phoenix, Arizona, Tucson, Arizona at the University of Arizona. I had a coach here when I played football by the name of Bob Mott. And Bob Mott passed away 2 days before I graduated from South Fayette. And he had a son, little Bobby, who was 8 years old at the time. And I'd like to thank him for recommending me for this committee to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. We've kept in touch over the years, and it's really amazing that he would do that. So people I'd like to thank today here are Lori Borzanti, Wetzel, Mary Berry. They've supported me all through high school and was at every game that I played at back then, and they're here tonight supporting me again. My sisters, Teresa, Kathy, they had to put up with me growing up, and that had to be a tough job. My brother-in-law, Jonathan, he was at all my high school games in college, or not in college, but here at South Fayette. And great guy. And special thanks to my wife, Cheryl. She's had to listen to a lot of things about South Fayette, but she never got to really experience it until this past couple days. And now she's getting to know what South Fayette is all about. When I grew up in South Fayette, it's a lot different than it is right now. We're talking about a little small school, 106 students in my senior class, and the one little, I think it's a middle school now, over on the hill. And what it is now, and where I grew up in, people probably don't even know where that is now, a place called Morgan Projects. Back then, too many people didn't want to go to Morgan Projects. But that's where I grew up, and what I did, I tried to make myself an example for the younger kids that were growing up behind me, because if I could do it, anybody could do it, and I wanted to give them that example. My mom instilled into me that you need to be a good person, tell the truth, be respectable, respect other people, and it'll take you a long way. And she passed away about 30 years ago, but the things that she taught me stayed with me my entire life. And that's probably one of the reasons I decided to become a police officer, because I wanted to be able to help people and show them the right way. South Fayette tradition, I remember guys like Joe Forkas. Joe Forkas is a person who got me interested in playing baseball. Glennie Davis was a great running back then, who ended up going to North Texas State, I think it was. And I knew if those guys could play, that I had a chance to play too. So I wanted to follow them in their footsteps and take it to the next level. Administrators here, when I was here, were Joe Basil, Al Papa, Mr. Deichler was my math teacher. And those people were great examples of how you wanted to treat people and how you wanted to design your life and how you wanted to turn out. But I guess the biggest thing is South Fayette is a special place. There's no other place like it. And it's turned into a really special place now, from what I can see. And the younger generations, keep in mind what you want, go after it, and you can make all your dreams come true. Thank you.
Our next inductee devoted his life to music, education, and community. Clem Rowland, class of 1964, was part of the first class to enter and graduate from the newly built South Fayette Junior-Senior High School. A gifted musician from an early age, Clem conducted his class's senior musical, The Boyfriend, and quickly became a familiar face on the local music scene, performing at dances, weddings, and jazz events across the region for more than 6 decades. After earning his bachelor's and master's degree in music education from Duquesne University, Clem became director of bands and department chair at Montour School District, where his ensembles won national recognition and performed at Pittsburgh Steelers games. In 1990, Clem returned home to South Fayette, where he led the Little Green Machine Marching Band to new heights. Under his direction, the band won major parades in Pittsburgh, Charlotte, and Niagara Falls, performing on the Today Show, at Mets games, and at multiple Steelers halftime shows. His motto, "Everything right, nothing left," became a lasting symbol of pride and excellence for generations of South Fayette musicians. Clem later founded the Robert Morris University Marching Band, making him the first South Fayette graduate to lead a university band. He went on to conduct the West Hill Symphonic Band, appear at Lincoln Center, and teach jazz at West Allegheny High School. Clem married fellow South Fayette Band alum Karen Furno in 1969, and together they shared a lifelong love of music and family. Please join me in honoring Clem Rowland.
I'm sure all the other inductees prepared something. I'd never do that. I was always in front of people and had to make a speech or had to kill time. Killing time was I think was my major in college. Anyway, folks, coming back to South Fayette was a wild story because I absolutely loved my career at Montour High School. I see some of my students here from Montour. See, I had a student who graduated and went into music, and he was asking, should I take this gig here? And we say gigs, take this school or take this school. I said, kids are the same everywhere. It's kids. It's up to you to do something with them. And here at South Fayette, when I came, I had absolutely no clue I was going to be the South Fayette band director in my career. I just wanted to be a band director. I wanted to bring music to kids. I wanted the kids to take that gift that music gives to them and keep with them the rest of their lives. We had something special in all the bands that I conducted. It was about togetherness to the point where I would tell the kids before we went on at halftime, I would say, 10 minutes. We have these people's lives for 10 minutes. All these people that we're going to play for in the audience in this football game. And we want to make it the best 10 minutes of their week. I would say that so many times. And the kids just ran with that thing. They really did. Music is so much more than you can imagine unless you do it, you don't understand. You love music, sure. But to be a musician, somebody said, what's it like to be a musician? That was a dumb question, but I answered it this way. I said, well, there's a story of a fellow who was a guitar player and a really fine player, and he was playing in a group. He wasn't married. He didn't married right away. He was, late 20s now, 30s, and this nice young lady kept following him around, going to his gigs and admiring him, and they got to be friends, and pretty soon they went on a date, and pretty soon, this led to this, and now they're getting married, and they're in their 30s now. And they get married and all had the wedding in their home now. And she says, gee, this is wonderful. She said, now that we're married, you don't ever have to play again. And he says, now you sound like my ex-wife. And she said, I didn't know you were married before. And he said, I wasn't. Because if my wife Karen here and my daughter Kim, and when you have a family and you're in the band business, and Aaron Carranza, my dear friend here, the band director at South Fayette, will tell you, your family has to be involved with that band and that band program just as much as you are. It becomes their life. See, music isn't what you do; it's who you are when you're a musician. And I wanted to say something. All you fellas have talked about South Fayette here. I grew up in the 50s in South Fayette, and of my friends on National Hill, only 3 of them, and I had a ton of friends, only 3 of them had grandparents that were born in the United States. They were all immigrants. It was the coolest thing ever. It was absolutely so cool. And there were little markets, and Joey Farkas knows this about Morgan. The little markets, and you'd go down and you'd hear Italian, and you'd hear Slovenian. There was a lot of Slovenians here in South Fayette. You'd hear those languages. Now, it was just wonderful, and you had to be able to say something to everybody. You know, you'd see Mrs. Litvak, you'd say, "Jak si máš, Mrs. Litvak," you know, and she'd say, "Jak si máš," you know, "How you doing?" But I didn't. That's the only words I knew in Polish. But it was just wonderful, and you have to understand too about South Fayette's traditions. It was about loving things like music, because the Europeans, that's all they had really for entertainment was music in those days. And the band here, my brother was in the band, the South Fayette band, with Dominic Sakiti as the director. They used to have the concerts 2 different nights because the place was packed down at the old Morgan School. Thursday and Friday night spring concerts. All the community talked about it. Dominic had the marching band here, and boy, the band was just wonderful. And we played, the biggest rivalry we had, fellas, was Bridgeville High School, before it was Chartiers Valley. And it was a big event that was talked about all year. And we played the other small communities. Cecil Township, we played them. We played McDonald. How about that? Not Fort Cherry, McDonald. It was awesome. It was just awesome playing the little communities. And when I got back here to South Fayette in 1990, we still played those smaller schools, and I just loved it. Mapletown. Of course, we had to leave like Wednesday afternoon to get there, you know. The only place they ever had to have a passport to get up to Mapletown. But it was wonderful. Going to those little schools, it was just great seeing those little communities and playing with them. And we did do all of that, and we uplifted people. I use that term all the time. When you perform for people, it's about uplifting them. And it takes long. It takes a love of music, and that music, we have to do this. We have to reflect upon the intentions of all that goes into the music, the composer, the show part of it, and we have to give it to the people. We have to bring it to the people. And they have to know that we love what we do, and it will go and it will be transferred to them. We have to do that, and that's what we did in music here at South Fayette. It was wonderful, just great gig. Like I said, I had no idea I was going to have this gig. It happened in 1990, it just happened. And it's just like Robert Morris, when I was here at South Fayette in 1994, the president of Robert Morris, Ed Nicholson, terrific guy, saw the South Fayette Band perform at the Bethel Park Band Festival, and it was a rain out. We had to perform inside on the stage. And they were starting football at Robert Morris. And he called here, talked to my superintendent here, Dr. Joel Carr, about talking to me. And so I started the band over there, just 5 football games. They didn't even have a fight song. They had to write the fight song. And it was like this. It was like, Clem, this is you know, it was the president, you know, Ed. He said, could you write us a fight song? I said, well, I probably could. I said, when do you want it? He said, like tomorrow. And that was a true story. So I was writing in my car, and I sat in my office and wrote that. And the South Fayette Band was the first band to play that fight song. We tried it out. I think Heather was, I see Heather out there, and Kathy, and Betsy here, and Melissa. We played that we premiered the Robert Morris fight song here at South Fayette. It won my conscience because I didn't know what it was going to sound like. That was the days before computers, computer programming writing. So I just wrote, you know, I wrote all the arrangements here. And it won tour too. It's a lost art now. You don't need to do it. There's wonderful companies that write music now. And in those days, if you wanted to do a pop tune from the summer, you had to write your own. You couldn't. Now it's wonderful. You can buy them. But that was South Fayette was about. It was about that ethnicity that you missed out on. A lot of you missed out on that wonderful thing. We didn't have much, but boy, we had a great community as far as traditions. And what is tradition? Tradition can be bad, you know. If you inherit tradition can be the enemy of progress. But it can also be, if your tradition is one thing, if your tradition is excellence, then you really have a great springboard. And that's what I got when I got here at South Fayette from Mr. Testa, Mr. Sakiti, my 2 band directors. It was a tradition of excellence. When that's the tradition, you're on your way if you adhere to the standards that they set and the rules that they set and the goals that they set. So, committee, thank you very, very much for your appointment, and for those who nominated me. My friend Tom Welsh, who was on the school board when I was here, and had his daughter Sarah in the band. It was great. South Fayette was a great place. It's still a great place, and I always wonder about this. What would those immigrants think when they saw this incredible facility, when they see this facility now? You know, they came 4,000 miles for a better life. Can you imagine the bravery to leave your family in Europe and come here for a better life, to raise your children? And just think if they could see this now, and the stories that the fellows told over here of the great athletic programs we have and the great band program we have. So I'm very, very proud to have graduated from South Fayette High School and to be honored into this Hall of Fame. Thank you all so very much.
Our next inductee represents what it means to lead with excellence, both in sports and in life. Lauren Uranker, class of 2004, was a multi-sport athlete at South Fayette, earning varsity letters in both basketball and soccer. A 2-year team captain, she held the girls' all-time basketball scoring record for 19 years, earned multiple All-WPIAL and All-Section honors, and was named a YMCA Scholar Athlete. She also excelled academically, serving as FBLA President, a National Honor Society member, and a Presidential Scholar Award recipient. Lauren played collegiate basketball at Geneva College, graduating cum laude in finance and earning the PAC SAAC Scholar Athlete Award. She went on to earn her MBA from Duquesne University, graduating with a 3.95 GPA. Professionally, Lauren has built an outstanding career at Goldman Sachs, rising from financial planner to global co-head of talent within human capital management. She also serves as the HCM Global Leadership Group and co-leads the America's LGBTQ+ client engagement pillar. Lauren now lives in Brooklyn, New York with her wife, Brittany, and their dog, Frankie. Congratulations to Hall of Fame inductee, Mrs. Lauren Uranker.
It's a very hard job to follow Clem Roland, but I'm going to try. I'm also glad that I finally have a reason to wear this green suit. So thank you very much for the honor tonight, and thank you all for being here. It feels really great to be back at South Fayette tonight, and I am really, really honored to be inducted into the Hall of Fame alongside my fellow alum. It's hard to know where to start in my attempt to thank others, how to reflect back on a time that shaped me, and how to adequately show appreciation for the school and community that laid the foundation for me in so many ways. So maybe I'll start with something that happened just a few weeks ago. As a part of my job, I got to interview Dawn Staley. For those that don't know, she's a basketball icon and one of the winningest coaches in women's college basketball. During our conversation, she talked about how the way that you pass the ball, how you see the game, how you set other people up to shine, can set you apart. I love that because for me, basketball has been so much more than a sport. It's been a language, a culture, a vehicle for growth, and a way of moving through the world. I fell in love with basketball in the most ordinary way, in my own backyard. My parents put up a basketball hoop and laid a small concrete court, and many games of one-on-one and horse ensued. Mom, thank you again for ruining your beautiful yard so I could pursue my passion. My family is a part of my foundation in every way. My sister Karen, who somehow always found the snack bar in every gym we visited, and knew immediately when we pulled into an away game what she'd be ordering at the concession stand. Karen, thank you for taking so many car rides to so many games and for being one of my biggest supporters throughout my life. I learn from you every day, and I'm so proud to be your sister. And I'll be sure to buy you some snacks at the football game tomorrow. I'm also really grateful for my parents, who never tried to make me fit a mold. They always let me be me and encourage my ambitions. I remember it was the time in between my sophomore and junior year, and the new high school gym was being built. My dad and I drove to the high school one day, and he told me we were gonna go shoot around. He tried every door in the building, and finally one opened, so I assumed this would not qualify as a break-in. The gym was still under construction, but the hoops were up. He brought a ball, handed it to me, and said he wanted me to be the first person to score a basket in the gym. Michael, you may have scored more points, but I scored the first one in that gym. And my mom, I could always hear her cheering in the stands. No matter what was happening on the court, she'd be screaming for me to box out, and I loved her enthusiasm. Mom, thank you for being at every game, for driving me to so many practices, for paying for so many camps, so many pairs of sneakers, for the AAU teams, and mostly, thank you for loving me and always being in my corner. I'm so grateful you're my mom. I also want to take a moment to thank my teammates, teachers, and coaches who shaped me. South Fayette was such a safe and secure place to grow up and find your way. I always felt very seen by my teachers, and I felt that way from preschool until I graduated high school. And no matter the sport, I had coaches who pushed me and saw my capabilities before I did. I'm especially grateful for my high school basketball coaches, Coach Salee, Coach Nesbitt, and Coach Brown. You brought a different kind of energy to the basketball program, including the best pregame warm-up songs, the best nicknames based on NBA personalities, and you taught us that details mattered, defense wins championships, and if you aren't ready to work, the door is right over there. It's not lost on me that this honor is a reflection of the many amazing teammates I have had through the years who made me better. From the seniors who embraced me when I was a nervous freshman stepping on the court, to the teammates who held me up when I lost my dad, and to the ones who made every practice and bus ride so fun, thank you for being such an important part of this honor. I see two teammates here, Alyssa and Chelsea. I also want to call out that I had no doubt if anyone messed with me on the court, you would tackle them, so thank you both very much for being my defenders. And although we met when my playing career was over, I do want to thank my wife, Brittany, who has been my ultimate teammate and friend for the last 10 years. Brittany, you are the best thing in my world, and I love you so very much. Thank you for celebrating with me tonight and proving that even when my jump shot wasn't as smooth, I could still score way out of my league. Hey. Thank you. One of the greatest gifts basketball gave me wasn't just competition, it was culture. Through basketball, my world got bigger. It gave me a new kind of music. It gave me a way of understanding people. It gave me an energy and a rhythm. Basketball also exposed me to a swag and a style that was new to me, and I'm grateful for it. And yet, like a lot of athletes, the game also broke my heart. I was and am so competitive, so losing games always hurt. But I went through something in college that really took some time to recover from. When I got to college, I was initially humbled by the faster pace, the stronger competition. When I finally matured into the college athlete I wanted to be, I was a junior and we made the postseason tournament for the first time in school history. I was doing well academically, I loved my teammates and my friends. My senior year started strong too. We were 8-0 when I found out that the college would be removing me from the team because I was gay. It was the end of 2007, and the whole experience was one of the hardest things I've gone through. Having the sport I loved taken away from me so abruptly was a really painful thing. In that moment, I felt the ache of losing the thing that had been my anchor and honestly a part of my identity for so long. But here's what I learned. Heartbreak doesn't have to be the end of a story. It can be the beginning of the next one. The highs and the lows of sports shape us in the most interesting ways. Watching the rise of women's basketball today has been really incredible. Seeing the skill and the respect it commands has been a joy. And as I stand here tonight, this honor feels healing. Sports can break your heart when you let yourself love the game, your teammates, the people who cheer you on. But I'm so grateful for the ways the basketball and this school has shaped me. This induction isn't just about points scored or games won. It's about the community that shaped me and the game that opened my world. Thank you to my teammates, my coaches, my family, my friends, and this school for giving me the foundation that has carried me everywhere I've gone. Thank you for letting me be a part of this Hall of Fame. It's an honor that means more than I can say. Thank you.
Our next inductee is remembered for his heart, his service, and his love for family, students, and community. Josh Willie, class of 1993, was a natural leader during his time at South Fayette, serving as a class officer and earning varsity letters in football, baseball, and basketball. He was known for his strong work ethic, both in the classroom and on the field. After graduating from Penn State University in 1997, Josh went on to earn his master's degree and began a 23-year teaching career in the Penn Hills School District, where he impacted thousands of students. He was recognized as both Teacher of the Month and Teacher of the Year, living by one of his favorite quotes: "Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better best." Josh gave back to his community as a youth coach in baseball, basketball, and lacrosse. And he even began umpiring for local games. He loved golfing, staying active at the gym, cheering on Penn State football, and vacationing with his wife Selena and their sons Nate, Ben, and Alex. Though he is no longer with us, Josh's legacy and positivity, hard work, and kindness continues to shine through the lives he touched. Accepting this honor will be Josh's family, his wife Selena, his 3 boys Nate, Ben, and Alex. We'd like to welcome Rodney Emerson, Josh's friend and former teammate, to say a few words on the family's behalf. Please, a very big round of applause for Josh Willie.
Good evening. Good evening. It's a bittersweet honor that I'm here to speak on behalf of my friend and fellow class of '93 grad here at South Fayette. Well, having gone to South Fayette my whole way, it's an honor to be here and just see what the place has become. You never think about coming back here. I mean, I'm pretty sure Joe DiNardo landed a helicopter here on this, right in this very spot when I was in 2nd grade over at the elementary school, and we kind of came running out to see that, many moons ago. So it's an honor to see what the place has become. Having been a lifelong South Fayette student, I remember watching the E's play, when they were winning their championship run. That was incredible. Played for Coach Benor. I remember getting free tickets from Tony Neely when he was playing with the Pittsburgh Maulers. Clem Rowland, I don't know much about band, but I do know that South Fayette has had the best band. My kids play sports where we live in Philadelphia. I've never seen a better band than the bands that they had at South Fayette, so definitely an honor to play here. And I didn't know you now, but I'm excited to make your acquaintance today. And that's what it is, right? It's the South Fayette life, right? Obviously, Josh being being one of my best friends and, passing so recently is something sad, but this is just awesome. It's an awesome opportunity to come. You guys have created something special, and the opportunity to speak on behalf of my friend in front of all you guys is really, really important and special. And when you're a person, your first coach is your father, and I remember Big Jim Willie and just always being there for us, and always, he's not a yeller, at least not at me, right? But he always had some warm things to say and to console us, and Ann always opened her home to us and was just a blessing. And you saw the values that Josh had, started at home, right? That's where it happens, right? And home for all of us is South Fayette. That's a part of our home. I mean, I went to small Fayette, right? So, I think we were probably the low water mark. We graduated with 60 kids, right? You know what I mean? And we went through a weird phase. I played for Coach Farkas and Coach Benor, but we had some different guys come in there. It got a little weird, and we didn't do a lot of winning. And I remember my senior year, Coach Babish came back because we had some other coaches. We've gone on to do other things successfully, but didn't have that kind of success here. But Coach Babish came back, and Josh and I were sitting at the lunch table, and he said, "Look, we're a small school. He's like, I got an opportunity to fix the football team, and I think I can do it. But we got 60 kids. You two are the best two athletes here. I can't do it without you." And that's how we got on the football team. And I've watched you guys play, and I've lots of success, but we were widely known as the team that brought the pride back. We were 5-4-1, we had a lot of success. Josh and I were the wide receivers. We didn't want to tackle anybody. It's funny because I went on to play in college and played defensive end, so there you go, right? But Josh was an excellent player and a ferocious competitor. His claim to fame on the football field was, we played with Antoine Johnson, and if anybody hadn't seen this kid play, there's two guys who just were phenomenal players. Antoine and Junior Lowe. If you haven't seen them play, man, go find some film because those guys were special. But we had this play. It was a hook and ladder. People have seen it, and we were down. It was homecoming. We were down, and Coach called the play, and now Josh would tell you that if you throw the ball to somebody and they catch it, and then the running back comes out of the backfield and you pitch it to them, and they keep running, and you got to catch it perfect, or else it just looks like a fumble, or you end up fumbling, the other team gets the ball. Well, we caught them perfect. Antoine ended up catching it and running it in for the touchdown, but Josh swore, that the pitch was just perfect, and it was the right pitch and tone that totally enabled the play to happen, right? And so we're going to go with that for today because it was a special play, and it was so good. It got WTAE's Player of the Week for that one, and we salvaged homecoming. So that was a special moment. We also, I remember just being at small Fayette. You had to play everything. So we would finish football, and then we would go to basketball, and then we would go to baseball. And baseball was Josh's best sport and the one he loved the most. And, I'll never forget when, at Burgestown one day when I caught his no-hitter. And he was very proud of that to his dying day. A few weeks later, Big John Metro bought us a bunch of new bats. Again, this is a different, it wasn't nice, like we didn't have all the money, all the things, but we had a lot of love. We had great coaches. I see you, Coach Chuck. We had a lot of support. That's what it is, South Fayette. Like if you don't know the legacies, if you haven't, understand the names and the people, then you don't get the full experience, right? And I'll never forget, the no-hitter, but John Metro got us some new bats, and that was a big splurge for us in those days. And Josh, I'll never forget, we're playing at Shar Houston, and he hit a ball so hard that he cracked the bat in half. And, he's, of course, Josh, greatest collection of unauthorized South Fayette gear that you will ever see. I mean, I'd get these texts out of nowhere with him, like with our Coach Farkas warm-ups. He'd have he had all this stuff that he'd have, but he had the bat, right? And I remember Coach Metro got mad at us because, we didn't have many bats and we broke one of those, right? But it was a heck of a shot. He was a heck of a player. And I know he would definitely want me to speak to that. Now, obviously, a lot of people know Josh from his community leadership. I mean, certainly in basketball, he was a commission, the uniform master. So I was at his house many a time when people didn't have uniforms for a game, and he would go in his garage and put something together and outfit a team out of his garage, and always found a way, right? I mean, that's there's one thing you learn in South Fayette. It's like, don't talk about what you can't do. Show me what you can do. And he was very much a can-do person. And that also led to baseball. When those boys during COVID, there was nothing for them. There was nowhere for them to go. And all these teams wanted to pull our guys from everywhere, and he just wouldn't have it. He put together his own team, and really, you can only kind of do that if you're an educator, right? If you understand how it works with schools and coaching and all that. And, obviously working over at Penn Hills and being inside the school systems, he put together a team and salvaged baseball for those kids. And not only that, they kicked a lot of butt. They went around the East Coast and won a ton of tournaments. I caught up with them on many occasions. I live in Philadelphia now, and I've lived multiple places, but I would drop in on them when they were unleashing hell on many a little community who didn't know what they had signed up for that day. So definitely a life of leadership. I know those kids are coming of age now, and I wish them lots of success. But I just want to be thankful for this place and what it's become, and how we've got here. And Selena, you didn't grow up here, so it's a little bit different for those of us who did. But I appreciate you for allowing me to speak on behalf of those of us who did, and for Josh's contribution to that. And boys, I just want you to hear a little bit how good a player your dad was. Everybody talks about, and you've seen this community leadership, and you will go forth to do those things because you do what you have seen done, right? Like they said, I've been, Mike Shuck's been he was my first weightlifting coach too. Same as those boys, because that's what he does. It's a life of service. And a lot of the same people here, you're hearing a lot of the same names, a lot of the same themes. And so you will be one of those people someday as you move forward in life. And that's a special thing because it started here, it nurtured here, and it built here, and you can put those things into the universe. And, I think it's a real blessing to what this place has become. I commend you guys for what you've really done with the place, and I think it's really special to all you guys to really be able to be honored in such a wonderful place that we all get the privilege to call home. I've lived multiple places, and I live in Philadelphia now, and I always make sure everybody knows I'm from South Fayette with pride, and we kicked all the Philly teams' butts when we played them in the state championship. So thank you, and God bless you all.
If I could have all of the inductees please stand up, and a big round of applause for all our inductees in the 2025 South Fayette High School Hall of Fame. Remember, this is a celebration. How about a big round of applause? At this time, I want to congratulate all of the inductees and welcome Mark Keener back to the podium.
I want to take the time to thank Bubba for emceeing tonight's event. We are appreciative of his continued support of the district and our South Fayette community. We always appreciate his willingness to share his many talents. So just personally, I want to thank you, thank the Hall of Fame inductees and congratulate you one more time. we encourage all of you in the stands, in the seats, I'm sorry, to nominate other South Fayette alumni for our class of 2026 Hall of Fame as well. Everyone here is encouraged to join us tomorrow evening at 6:30 at the stadium, where we will publicly recognize our inductees. You can join us to celebrate these amazing Hall of Fame inductees, watch our little green machine and our cheerleaders perform, and root our Lions football team on to a victory. So thank you so much for attending. Congratulations once again. Safe travels home. Thank you.